All right, what's up, everybody? We are on episode 11 of Death Note called Assault. And I gotta say that for the first time since starting this show, which it's been a couple of weeks now, we're on episode 11. This is the first time I'm kind of going into an episode with real Attack on Titan vibes, to put it like that. I don't think it's ever really happened yet where I went into an episode with like several questions that I've been thinking about a lot that could all be sort of connected in some type of way, and where I genuinely don't know what direction the story is going to be heading into. Like, so far, although of course this has been a super story-driven show that really requires you to pay a lot of attention, and I absolutely have been loving it, it also did resolve storylines in a relatively linear way, I felt, where like it always just moved from one storyline to the next, right? So early on, for example, we were dealing with Ray, then that ended up becoming his wife that we had to take care of. Then now, as of recently, of course, things have been getting a little bit more up close and personal with Light and L, becoming very personally connected, and L essentially following him around everywhere, right? So really cool to see. But yeah, they never really had like several teasers that they had done where I've just been myself right now in the last week thinking a lot about how are they going to connect this all, and is it all connected in the first place, right? Because yeah, like some of this stuff, I mean, the first thief, for example, is like Light's dad's heart attack, which we saw in the most recent episode, right? And that completely came out of nowhere at first. And they kind of played it off in a way like, oh, don't think too much about it. He was just under stress. And they showed this scene where, he had this conversation with one of his superiors, kind of ended up in an argument. And so things got a little heated. And like, I understand that he's been under a lot of stress. But at the same time, there is no way that, that's not going to lead somewhere, or that there isn't a more of a point to it, I feel, because nothing ultimately came out of it. And then it makes me go, well, why was this even here in the first place in the story? Why did this happen, right? It's interesting because it's obviously not Kira's doing in the first place, because Light is like, he's not going to kill his own dad, at least at this point in the show. I don't see him doing that. I wonder if eventually he will have to make a sacrifice like that, literally just to protect his secret. And if he then is prepared to do that in the first place, that's going to be super interesting to find out. But for now, I mean, it wasn't his doing. Also because his dad just got a heart attack, but he didn't die. And that's not even something that I think Light can do. All he can do is just write names in his death note and make those people literally die of heart attacks, unless he specifies a different method, of course. But so this was clearly not his doing. And so it makes me wonder, okay, could it have possibly been somebody else doing it? Because the second tease is obviously that we saw a couple episodes back already, how there's been another Shinigami that was going to come to the real world. He was going to check up on Ryuk, he said, and so he was just going to like travel his way down to the real world, like I said. And it makes me wonder, what implications will that have? I speculated kind of like, could he, for example, be giving somebody else a death note too? That would be super interesting if there was like a second Kira suddenly entering the scene here, because this new Shinigami also dropped that death note. I'm not sure like if that's a requirement for them to be able even to travel to the real world. I feel like Ryuk might have mentioned that in one of the early episodes, but I'm not sure anymore. Or can they just like travel completely at will, and is this just going to be a second Shinigami for Light chasing him around, right? Like, that's another possibility. So, but again, with the fact that we already saw that his dad got a fake heart attack, it makes me wonder, like, was somebody responsible for that? And clearly it would be somebody with different powers, because that person isn't necessarily killing people. He's just giving them heart attacks regularly that they can recover from or something, right? Super fascinating. Then the third tease, of course, and this all kind of, again, like it makes me think that it's all connected in some type of way. The third tease is what the most recent episode ended on, which was that scene with the TV crew where they got some like cassette tapes, supposedly from Kira, but we saw no like indication that Light had this plan or something before that. So it makes me wonder, like, it's probably also somebody else's doing. Could be L at the same time, but I don't know. I'm just not sure what to think. I mean, maybe it's just another one of L's strategies. Again, like realizing that he needs to do out of the box type of stuff to get to expose that Light could in fact be Kira after all. But yeah, I think they threatened the TV station to like broadcast those cassette tapes or whatever, and otherwise they would be killing all of them. And the guy was actually ecstatic about it because he just wanted like good, good numbers, I guess, good view counts. I know what that's like, wanting that. But yeah, it's I mean, all in all, again, it makes me go like, where could that be going, and who is this person who actually sent those cassette tapes in the first place? All of it genuinely makes me kind of lean in the direction of like, there's going to be a new person entering the scene, and whether that is just the Shinigami in itself or the Shinigami who gets somebody else in the real world to give that person similar type of powers or something, right? Would be super fascinating to see. So I don't know. I mean, I'm just excited to dive in and see whether my theories could hold any weight, or if it's all going to go in a completely different direction that I once again could not have seen coming, because that's what the show does a lot. So that being said, we are going to dive into this new episode, but of course, let me quickly point out that if you enjoy my reactions, you can already watch the next 8 episodes right now over on my Patreon, which is linked on top of the description. Over there, we will actually be on episode 19 right now, so you can catch up all the way there, along with full-length reactions if you want to see me react to these episodes in their entirety. But then with that being said, let's dive into episode 11 of Death Note. I'm actually thinking now, I mean, we're gonna see her now, I assume, in the intro. We still haven't seen this, like, female character who we see in this intro. And I've been speculating a lot just now in the intro portion for the video that, like, there could be a new Kira. It makes me wonder if it's gonna be, like... Actually, I just noticed she has blue hair here too. It's just pictures like that, but that's more like L. Interesting. I don't know, man. Like, is Light gonna have competition? And he's like reaching out to her too, like, join the dark side. Assault. What is this assault gonna be? Like on the TV company or? Yeah, they still never found a body. I wonder if we're ever gonna find out, like, where she went to commit suicide. They're literally just announcing it on the TV. But I assume they were supposed to do it this way, right? That's all this guy can think about, man. Okay. Oh, to prove that it is. Interesting. So then it's either Light, yeah, or somebody else who has powers too. I like the music. Interesting, a message. Is Light seeing this? Tayo TV is dying? Oh my god. Yo, this is so fucked up. Oh. It's people who condemned him? Damn, man. No stopping it, I guess. I don't know if that's a good plan. I hate evil and... What did he say? Like justice? That seems like such a fake line, though. Like, it literally feels like somebody pretending to be Kira. Literally, all I need to know now is, like, what is Light doing in this moment? Is he seeing this? What is his reaction gonna be to it? The police and I?
幸子。
あなた、体に触ります。
Yeah, you need to do some resting, yeah.
私はキラ事件の捜査本部長だ。
This is his life's purpose, man.
警察だ！開けろ！バカ野郎！
What did he say? No can do? What now? Oh my god. I was gonna say, why are we following this guy around? Something is gonna happen to him. Okay, everybody. Oh, right. Oh, that was just to like alarm them, right? He didn't even get to press it. Damn. Oh, they will just see it here. Dude, that must mean that Kiro's like looking at the security cameras and like seeing who's trying to come in and stuff. Yeah, you're just signing your own death warrant now. Exactly. Oh, true. So you didn't have his name. Hmm. I mean, we know he needs a name. Like, it's gotta be somebody else who has slightly different abilities. We already saw that with the heart attack, which didn't lead to a death, you know? So now, like, being able to do similar things to people without needing a name would be kind of like that. Damn, dude. Holy shit. Yeah, exactly. I didn't see that coming. I'm like, who the hell is ramming this boss into it? Oh, this guy's not gonna like that. Yeah, and we got higher numbers than ever. Oh shit. Smith and Wesson. Awesome. I love the dad's dedication. Really? So he was telling him not to get them involved. Damn. Oh my god. This episode is so chaotic. I'm surprised there were some police still, you know, going there. Be careful. He's never felt more alive. Even though he was just on the brink of death not too long ago. What, is there gonna be some other vehicle to pick him up or something? Or what is he gonna do? Clearly he cannot be seen. Although again, if it was actually light, which I'm sure it's not, then I assume his dad wouldn't have much to fear. What is this? Whoa, they have a whole police force blocking it, or what? The military with helmets? Yeah, just so they can't be identified, I guess, right? But... exactly. Okay. The country is fighting back a bit. I wonder how the people feel about it. Because Light had his supporters, right?
龍崎、封筒テープ全部入っている。
ありがとうございます。
Interesting to see if there was more on
八
them.
神さん、無駄にはしません。化身は大阪か。
Oh, okay.
しかしキラは死の前の行動を操れる。
Could have sent somebody else
共感しなくて
to
も
do
出
it.
せる。
Yeah.
相沢さん、これの鑑識お願いできますか。3には協力の細かい条件。簡単に言うと、犯罪者を
Conditions for cooperation.
すること。特に軽犯罪でも人を傷つけたもの。
Oh, okay. Just to get even more criminals known.
警察が協力することの証として、警察幹部とエルがテレビに出演し、キラに協力すると発表しろと言っています。
Yeah, so just even more power, essentially.
4のビデオの内容は
言い方が違うだけでほとんど同じです。八神さん、返事は当然ノーでしょうし。
I guess they never had much of a choice.
大変残念に思います。警察はあくまで私と戦うという返事ですから。
So what then?
日本警察庁長官の命、もしくは捜査の指揮を執っているとされる4日間で決めてください。
What, the public is gonna have to decide or what? I mean, he still needs L's name.
人間界にもう一匹の死神が舞い降りた。
Wow, so he does figure it's somebody else.
キラに賛同する人間の手に。
Yep.
おそらくこいつは死神の目を持っている。つまり殺傷能力ははるかに僕より勝る。
Oh, the person has the eyes, and that's why it doesn't need the name.
エルが葬られる可能性もある。こんな卑劣なやり方でキラの品位を落としたのは許せることではない。
Yeah.
して捕まり、デスノートの存在を知られてもまずい。
Yeah, I mean, clearly he's kind of dragging Light's
捜査本部に協力し、
image through the mud.
動きと偽キラの動きを。
It really is like competition for him, kind of.
思っていた通りだ。各国首脳が勝手に話し合い、本物のエルをテレビに出演させろと言ってきた。
それが一番正しい選択です。
Yeah, but the moment you do that, you're literally fucked.
ありますから、対策を考えましょう。私も不愉快ですから。
He's like so not affected.
このキラはキラの偽物の可能性が高い。
Already figured it out.
第二のキラという
This,
べき。
wow, this is the second Kira.
第二のキラがいると思うのか。ちゃんと話してくれないか。
This story just became 5 times more interesting.
テレビ局員に信じさせるために、本物のキラならそんな雑魚でやってみせる必要はない。
龍崎、第二のキラという可能性は一体どのくらい？
今回は 70% 以上です。
More than 70%,
大体
yeah.
やり方が気に入らない。追うものは別として。
Yeah, so
罪の
far.
ない者の
Well,
犠牲は避けていた。
exactly.
片方のキラが捕まれば、もう片方を捕まえるヒントは少なからず生まれると思うんです。息子さんに捜査協力を願ってもよろしいでしょうか。
Damn, what if Light and L are really gonna have to sort of like work together now for a common goal?
いえ、疑いは晴れたとは言えませんが、息子さんの推理力が期待できる。
そういう意味か。
No, at least you can tell Light is smart and could help him out.
理由はない。
あくまでもキラを追っているという形でお願いします。
What, again to see how Light is gonna react and stuff? And like,
なあミサ、
what he's gonna
せ
think?
っかくデスノートをあげたのに、もっと自分のために利用しなくていいのか。
自分のために使ってるよ。
It really is that girl, isn't it?
話したいとも思ってるよ。
Oh, this is a whole different girl, I
そのため
think.
にわざわざテレビにあんなの送ってキラに気づいてもらえるようにしたんだから。
危ない遊びだね。殺されるかもしれない。
Damn, this is such a creep.
大丈夫だよ。目を持ってるミサの方が強いもん。
Yep. Wow. Who the hell is this character? So interesting. I swear, man, this show goes so fast sometimes that literally does not give you any time to truly think about everything that's going on. But like the one thing that I was kind of deliberating about in my head right before I started recording this review is kind of like, man, this sure is another very interesting personality to have gotten the Death Note, because I was kind of reminded of something that Ryuk told Light in one of the very early episodes, where he literally mentioned that like Light getting the Death Note was completely random. And I think I even commented in that moment, well, he sure was an interesting character to be getting it, having this real sense of justice, right? And the same exact thing is happening now again, where this new girl who's called Misa, like, yeah, I mean, she seems, again, she kind of seemed to be sort of obsessed with Kira, right? And she was kind of like, well, I'm not sure how to describe it, but clearly she wants to actually get in contact with Kira, I would imagine, with Light. Yeah, and she's essentially doing the same thing, except she's taking it to a whole new level. In part, of course, because she also has the Shinigami eyes, and she was clearly prepared to get them and to sacrifice half of her own lifespan because of it. So it shows how driven and destined she is, and that it's even basically taken to a whole new level, right? Makes me question, is Light now gonna have to finally resort to getting it too, just to be on that same level? Yeah, I mean, he will have quite the competition here, which also brings me back to, of course, the fact that, yeah, he's literally gonna have to work together here with L, seemingly, to discover the identity of this person. And even L has some, like, personal... Well, it's funny, because L is clearly now closer than ever to dying because of this, because, you know, this new Kira... Misa again, like she will only need to see his face just to be able to kill him. Will not need a name, because you know, she can already see that. But yeah, I mean, dude, I'm so like, it's funny what I was gonna say. Sorry, my mind is going in all kinds of places, but it was funny to see L deal with that in such a calm, like, stoic way or whatever. Like, oh yeah, I mean, he's still thinking completely tactically, right? And he completely managed to figure out already that was a second Kira they were dealing with here. He kind of deduced that by how desperately this Kira wanted to sort of like ensure that people knew that this was Kira and stuff, right? Which the previous one wouldn't do as much or whatever. But yeah, man, fascinating episode. I wonder if this girl is the same girl that we see in the intro, because that's kind of like what I had actually, funnily enough, speculated about, or sorry, the opening or whatever I should call it. In the opening part of this episode, when we saw that girl there, she kind of seems to have the same hair, but the hair color is different. So I once again wonder what that is about. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's also the other thing that I can still point out that I find interesting is that... what was I thinking about? Like, she has the same powers technically as Light, except that she has the Shinigami eyes. But then it does make me wonder, like, is she responsible for that heart attack that Light's dad got in the last episode? Or was that something to just throw us off? Because he didn't die from it, right? So she, like, if she was responsible, that means that she can give people heart attacks without killing them. And that's a power that we have not learned about yet. And so it makes me wonder, like, is that a power that she has? Or is the heart attack ultimately actually something else entirely? Because everything else connects, right? And my initial theory was actually true, and it's cool to find that out here in this episode. Also, you know, maybe one last detail that I can point out, but I found it cool to see how driven Light's dad was and just rammed into that place with the boss or truck or whatever you call it, you know, that he was doing that with. Yeah, this was a great episode. Again, it went super fast and kind of didn't even give me time to think everything through completely, but I'm gonna move on. I'm gonna have to watch another one, so that's just what I'm gonna be doing here. Of course, guys, if you enjoy my reactions, you can actually already watch the next 8 episodes right now over on Patreon. We will be on episode 19 over there, so go and check it out. It is, of course, as always, linked on top of the description, along with full-length reactions. That way you help support the channel, which, you know, allows me to make more of these videos, so I very much appreciate it. And again, you get to watch the next 8 episodes already right now, so go and check it out. And then for now, I want to thank you for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you back in the next episode.